Hey everybody, this is Aluna Michaels, Esoteric Astrologer. How are you doing? And I'm here today to talk to you about the events of October 2015. So, okay, kind of some small things with the inner planets going on, but doing kind of interesting stuff. So just kind of show you how things can kind of layer, even though they're small planets. So some details here, so hopefully keep up with me. Let me know. Comment to me if you can. Okay, so we know that Mercury is retrograde in Libra. It went retrograde, need my glasses on, and went retrograde on September 17th. It is going to go direct on October 8th, yay, and that'll be at 0 degrees of Libra, for those of you who want to know that. And it will catch up with itself because it went retrograde at 15 Libra in September, went back to 0, then it goes back to 15, so some people like to know that. That's October 24th. Now, Mercury going direct usually is like, yay, there's just a little bit of interesting stuff going on when it's going to do that. And because Libra is about extremes and about relationships, and that retrograde Mercury can be about misinterpreting details or information, jumping to conclusions. The retrograde can even be things kind of dragging up from your subconscious about the past. So just know that you and other people may feel not quite present or not quite putting A with B. It's like A with like old N or something. It's like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. But to you, it can make sense in the moment or to somebody else because where they're going to be at. So what'll be happening, and this has, there's some interesting stuff going on at the beginning of October and then kind of smoother things going on at the end. So so Mercury, let's say it's going direct October 8th. The day before, on October 7th, we've got Mars opposing Neptune. So Mars is in Virgo, which can be critical, and opposing Neptune in Pisces. Neptune happens to be retrograde, but it's retrograde half the year, but whatever. But again, it's that sense, Mars can be anger or jumping to conclusions, and Neptune, in this instance, when it's opposing, is like, what? So people can feel offended at things that aren't even there or worried about stuff. Virgo, it can think itself into a tizzy or a sadness or something because, it's like imaginary stuff a lot of times when Neptune's opposing Mars and Mars is opposing Neptune. The good way to work with it, or maybe a better way, is releasing old anger and even seeing like, how am I bringing stuff forward and putting it onto this now moment, and even self-criticism with that Mars in Virgo. So that happens on the 7th, Mars opposed Neptune. Then we've got the Mercury direct. And then the next, pretty much on the 10th, we've got Venus squaring Saturn and Venus just going into Virgo, like on the 8th, and then it squares Saturn in Sagittarius. And again, this can be Saturn just as old stuff or patterns, and Venus and Virgo, again, can get that sense of overly critiquing stuff. So Venus squares Saturn, again, because we're dealing with a Mars opposed Neptune, we're imagining things, Mercury's going direct, and it's like, who's never gonna make any money, I'll never have real love, this person will never be what I want, they're always letting me down, and that could all be true, but it really can be about perspective, and I just want to save you some grief if you're going to be stressing a lot about stuff, or other people are and putting it on you. Just saying, okay, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on about people trying to get in the present, okay? So that's the third thing, is the Venus square Saturn. Then, I was like, okay, this is intriguing. We've got a new moon on the 12th, 13th, and it's in Libra, of course. So the sun and moon are conjunct right next to each other when the moon is new. And Uranus is opposite the sun and the moon. Great, right? So Uranus can be really chaotic, jump to conclusions, edgy, and because the moon is your moods, the sun is the ego, new moon isn't so much like a full moon where people are feeling, kind of over the top or something, but it still kind of can be inward and, I don't know, over-obsessed with yourself, and then that Uranus, like, yeah, like kind of goading you on to more crazy stuff. It's like, oh my gosh. So from the 8th to the 12th, 13th, it's like interesting stuff here. And it would be really better to not say stuff, but maybe write things out in a journal, think about it, maybe talk with friends who know you really well and say, oh, this may have to do with this thing from way back here, you know, like this person you're involved with, or this is something you've really overcome. You've made a lot of strides with this and you're beating yourself up, you know, cut yourself some slack. So before you make decisions, cut people out of your life, whatever, even making purchases, because Mercury is, Mercury's in Libra, and you know, a lot of the stuff is happening in Libra, and Venus related too, can be about money. So it's like, wait, hold off. Do you really need these things? Don't be impulsive during this time, okay? So we get through that, and then there's more of a sense of relief and about being present. And so then we're getting into some cool stuff the second half of the month. Okay, what did I also write here? What does my handwriting say? Oh yes, sorry, one more thing. On the 16th, and this can kind of be a bridge between the beginning of the month and the end, is that on the 16th, Mercury's direct, of course, and it hits 4 degrees of Libra, which you may have remembered was the eclipse, the full eclipse that we had, the total eclipse at the end of September, on the 28th, 27th, 28th. So Mercury goes direct and hits that point. It's like, oh, okay, now I get what it's about, you know, instead of, whoa, what's happening, you know, and then it's like, okay, I think I get the picture. I get the whole scenario. So that can illuminate a whole lot of stuff that even could have started at the, you know, that whole beginning of the Mercury retrograde and the eclipse and everything in September. So it's like, okay, so that's why, you know, oh, I wish I hadn't done that thing, or I'm glad I didn't do that thing or say that thing. So there's a lot of awarenesses that can come up. It's a real good time to watch for your dreams or just little hunches or intuitions you have. So that's, again, the 16th of October. Then we go into the end of October, which is, I was talking about Venus and Mars having gone into Virgo. You may remember that Jupiter's also in Virgo. So now Jupiter has a 12-year orbit, so it stays in the sign for a year. Mars has a 2-year orbit, Venus a 1-year orbit. But what's happening is all 3 of them are going to be together, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. And this can be a whole lot about really new beginnings. Instead of this, we're doing all this wrapping up of stuff, now it's like, you know, I'm clear, because that's the best part of Virgo, you know, what I want. Mars is desires, and in a lot of ways Jupiter is the higher desires, and how do I get what I want, including everybody in that vision? What's the best for everybody? And Venus is, you know, sort of, Mars can be like, I want it, and Venus is like, oh, I want that, I need that. So kind of like your heart and your mind and your will kind of all coming into harmony. You know, and a point of excitement, especially if you feel shy about things or insecure about, you know, want to get the new job or the new relationship or whatever it can be. So you feel like you can kind of step out of your limits at that time. So what'll happen is on October 18th, Mars and Jupiter conjunct, and on the 25th, Venus and Jupiter conjunct. And then on the 31st and the 1st of November, Venus and Mars conjunct. So really from the 18th to the 31st, they're all kind of hanging out together, and Jupiter's giving that kind of overarching blessing to all of that. And for those of you who want to know the degrees, which I didn't write down, 14 degrees through like 22 degrees of Virgo, that's all happening. Now what's fun about all that is that Jupiter is going to end up retrograding in January and going back over all that stuff. So we could kind of say that this is all happening from now, October 2016, going through even August of next year of this 2016. Did I say, okay, October 2015 to August 2016, with this kind of little pieces of excitement by the inner planets. So sometimes that's how the inner planets can become more powerful, when they're working with outer planets, and I'm calling Jupiter. Jupiter may or may not be an outer planet for some of you, but has more weight maybe than the quicker moving ones. So it's that time of visioning what you want, being optimistic about it, feeling you deserve the best, what is really, and when you're kind of creating your new, say, spiritual wish list of how you wish to be, or how much money you want to make, or you know, ways you want to be on your spiritual path, or improve your relationships, whatever. You can keep checking in with those wants and needs and plans and actions kind of all through that period of time between October and August. So that's kind of cool. So enjoy the month. And like I said, just get through the beginning of the month with all that kind of stuff. And it's like, you know, if it feels extreme, that first half of the month, like it's probably not about now. It is old stuff. And then if you need to make decisions about things, like you really do need to leave a relationship or a job or whatnot, you'll feel it more gracefully happening once we get the 16th of October in there, and that Mercury conjuncts the eclipse point, and then beyond when the Jupiter's involved in streamlining some stuff. You'll feel more inspired toward action rather than sort of flailing at an action, you know. So that's the kind of stuff to look for in October. So yay, thanks for listening. If you would like to have a session with me, you can contact me through my website, alunamichaels.com. I also have my little astrology book, The Spiritual Gifts of the 12 Astrological Signs. That's an ebook on there. You can contact me through commenting on YouTube, whatever, Facebook, wherever you're seeing me. And enjoy your October and have fun with it. And I will see you next month. Bye-bye for now. I can shut this thing off. Bye.